Innovation. What is innovation? I would like to start asking innovation. This word has been widely used across, especially today's, with all the innovation technology that we can see and actually change some of our life today. But today, I'm not sharing about the innovation technology or the innovation products, but instead, I'm sharing about the idea of the innovation being the mindset, being the process, and as well as being the journey. I believe every one of us has a potential, has a gift to be innovate. See, ever since we were young. So I'm going to bring you back into some of my story and my journey, and let's go back to the childhood. So as you can see, I'm not sure if you can recognize any one of them is me, but I was born in this family full of crazy siblings. Um, we're a bunch of curious kids. You can tell we're really playful there. But we have a really traditional and strict father he did not believe in buying toys for us because he thinks that that's waste of money. Being a really traditional businessman, that he just feel like you need to save money, you need to work hard and study hard and do our homework instead of going and play with the toys. But with such a limitation, do you think kids would just not play? I think that's quite impossible. And that's why, I would believe like as a kid, we all allow us to play. And when by playing, we actually discover our innovation mindset. So, since there's limitation, restriction, what are we gonna do? You know, we went out there and play. I mean, that time there's no iPhone, okay? So we went outside with a bunch of us. We'll discover like old trash, or those used materials. So I remember once that we found this big I think truck tire. So we actually modified it and changing it into a rocking horse with a even cooler rocking horse that actually we do a 360 turn with the help of our teamwork. So from there we can see the innovation mindset. Every one of us has it since we were little, but we might have lost it when we're going into school. So one of my favorite tech speaker, Sir Ken Robinson, has talked about how our education system has killed some of our creativities as well as innovation. The reason why is that, as you can see, that our education system is set out on the industrial time. And that time is providing education for that age. But as we're moving along to today, we're at the information age. But we are still using the same kind of education system. It's not ready for now. It's not ready. It's not really for what we are and having facing today. Wherever there's some of the method that's been taught can be actually replaced with machine or with computers, and moreover possible of robots that's coming as well. But nothing is been innovated at all. So what are we gonna do for the future? What's next after information? And to me, it's the age of innovation. It means that innovation is a journey that will continue to lead us to all the way throughout the entire life. Because as you can see, even today, even before that, everything in the universe was created, or innovated by human beings. It's our mind that actually create all these items beside our mother nature. And as I grew up, I remember, my father and of course our parents would ask us to go to school and study as what the teacher asked us to do, and no more questions, just follow. But it's something that I see is something I wish that we all start to change about the mindset. It's about how we can be innovative, but not just following. And as I'm moving along, I was really blessed that I got the opportunities to study across in the States. I went to the Los Angeles. I was really new in a foreign country, far, far away from Malaysia. So it was new challenge where I have nobody to look after, look for, and it was a tough challenge. As in, I wasn't confident in speaking English. I wasn't comfortable speaking at all, and publicly. And now I'm speaking at TEDx. This is how crazy life could change sometimes. And but because of that kind of new environment, we're putting ourselves into the difficulty, uncomfortableness, and that will trigger even more about our innovation. And I always believe when we face difficulty is the best time that we look back into and force ourselves to be even more innovative. Because that's the best time that we force ourselves to think about the new way of doing things. So moving on, I went to Florida for another design and art school. Even though my father did not like it because he thinks, study design or art is waste of money again. But I was able to convince him after 1 year of keep on nagging him over the phone when I was over the States. And finally, the persistent, then he just let me do whatever I want. And in that school, I was learned even more and even triggered about the innovation ideas and mindset. But I also learned about innovation is also about the process. It's not just the mindset itself that will help, but it's a process of try and error. So we are giving into this project where one of our community restaurants owner came to our school and asking us to solve his problem by designing, the wine court that is being thrown away by their customers who drinks a lot of wine. So he did not want to just throw away the wine court. He wants to do something about it. So this type of problems came in, and we are not just there design something that is pretty and just for the purpose of just putting there for display. Instead, we have to come up what are the possible solutions, and we try and error, and we test it, we prototype it many ways, and finally we only came out with the ideas and the actual products of the joining together all the design cores and into a elastic string. And it can form all sorts of different, become different products that allows the owner to put wine or to put their kitchen essentials, all sort of things. So in general, it's to say that all sort of products can be innovating as we know how to learn the process and the mindset. But any product that they have today is not meant to last forever. Because we all know there's always change. And there's always, the only thing is constant of the change, is change that is constant of in our life. And because of that, all the products that we created is actually meant to reinvent or innovate again. And one of my bigger change after being in the States for almost 8 years, one of my bigger changes is move back to Penang because of my family. So it wasn't quite unlikely I was comfortable again. I was putting in that situation. It was really tough to face it again with the reverse culture shock. But this time it is again that trigger my innovation. I was put into position of doing property development, from a graphic designer to property development construction site. What a big, huge difference. Of course, it's really uncomfortable. It wasn't quite something I love to do. Not that everyone sometimes have the choice to do what we love, but again, innovation can be applied anywhere. So it doesn't stop just because I'm not a designer and I cannot innovate. So Again, we went into design design team, and what I did was I observed and understand how construction actually do. So one of the problem that I saw was they were in construction site. The traditional way of laying tiles is by putting like laying one by one, and at the end of it, they will measure on the site, and then they were okay, maybe left a quarter, and then I'll measure and cut it and lay it down. So that quarter of tiles is being wasted. They will throw away the quarter tiles because it doesn't fit in any parts of the rest of the design. So what I do is I work with the architect and I come up with a better solution. Why don't we design it from day one, from the planning stage, by if we're gonna need 2.5 tiles or 3 tiles, we put it up already from day one. This is the size that we want. So we can't add the factory and then moving on to the construction site. So they will just only need to lay the tiles according to the size, instead of cutting on the side and wasting so much wastage. And by just doing little innovation exercise here, I'm able to save already about 30% of the cost as well as the wastage, and increase the efficiency for the people who are able to lay tile even faster. So as we can see, innovation can be applied in anywhere. It's not just the technology segment, but it can be applied in any of the businesses. And I'm not sure how many of you know Nokia. If you know, you're probably around my age. But if you don't know, probably you're really young. I always do think that Nokia was one of the coolest thing where with the 3310 or 8250. If you know what I'm talking about, you're probably in the same age. So it was one of the coolest phone ever with the snake. But what happened? They were one of the top player in this mobile market. When you don't innovate, you'll be absolute in no time. And Nokia is one of them that has been sort of vanished in our new generation, because the changes is keep coming and we will never stop innovating. And I'm moving on into embracing more innovation. I'm not a type of person that I like always be comfortable. After I knowing the power of how well I can actually, push in further with innovation mindset, and I move on into learning about how I can create better impact with innovation. So I created a co-working space. I want a community to embrace innovation. So at the co-working space, we also have classes and taught about innovation to get people to release the mindset and throw away certain of old school method and look into what are the new way we can actually achieve better result and better growth. As you can see the journey from the childhood, schooling, to doing business or at work, we can everyone be innovating. And now I'm also working with the state government to even create organizing Asia Innovative Summit coming this year as well, to trying to also embrace more innovation across the over Asia countries, and to let leaders, to let governments, to let businesses to immerse themselves in the all innovation, new technology, solution, mindset, and all new system that we can apply for daily life. And lastly, I would like to let every one of you to go back to your childhood and to remember how it was with your playful and innovative minds, and always be curious and always learn to be different. And most importantly, be innovative. Thank you so much.